Ashley Lauren Monroe is an American country music singer-songwriter. She has released 2 solo singles on the U.S. Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. The singles Satisfied and I Don't Want to reached number 43 and number 37, respectively. Both singles were intended to be released on Monroe's debut album, Satisfied, in 2007, but the album went unreleased. Soon after, Monroe left Columbia Records' roster in late 2007, and Satisfied was finally released on May 19, 2009. In June 2011, Monroe, Miranda Lambert and Angaleena Presley formed a band called Pistol Annies. Monroe's second studio album, Like a Rose, was released on March 5, 2013 and received widespread critical acclaim. On February 20, 2015, Monroe released Onto Something Good as the lead single to her album The Blade, released on July 24, 2015. Biography. Ashley Lauren Monroe was born on September 10, 1986 in Knoxville, Tennessee. At age 11, she won a talent contest in Pigeon Forge where she sang I Want to Be a Cowboy's Sweetheart, and found steady work at a theater there. Her parents played songs by the Eagles and Lynyrd Skynyrd. After her father died from cancer when she was 13, Monroe and her mother moved to Nashville so she could pursue her career in music. Satisfied. After a year in Nashville, she gained a publishing deal as a songwriter, which then led to her signing to a record contract with Sony Records under John Grady, where she began to record her debut album, Satisfied. In 2006, the title track to the album was released as the first single to country radio. It failed to make the top 40 on the Hot Country Songs chart, however, a second single was released shortly after. I Don't Want to was released as the second single, which featured Ronnie Dunn of Brooks and Dunn. It initially did well on the charts, charting at number 37. Still, after 2 singles, the album still hadn't been released. The label then decided not to release the album until Monroe charted a top 20 single. But, no follow-up singles were ever released. iTunes briefly had the album available in July 2006 but it was removed from the online store by mid-August. In late 2007, Monroe and Columbia Records parted ways, and Satisfied went without being released. In addition to her own material, she co-wrote Katrina Elam's 2007 single Flat on the Floor, as well as Jason Aldean's 2009 single, The Truth, and Miranda Lambert's 2011 single, Heart Like Mine. In April 2009, it was announced on Monroe's MySpace page that Satisfied would be released to digital retailers on May 19, 2009. The single I Don't Want to was not included. In early 2012, Amazon.com and Spotify began streaming and selling an MP3 track called Promised Land that was originally recorded for, but left off of, the Satisfied album and now is listed as a bonus track. Ashley Monroe EP. In late 2009, Monroe posted on her MySpace page that she was independently releasing a new self-titled EP. It would only be sold at the live shows. While she was touring with the 10 Out of Teen artists, she realized she had nothing to sell to the fans who loved her sets and she wanted to give them something. This EP contains the tracks Has Anybody Ever Told You, Angaleena, Drink for Two, and You along with Trent Dabb's collaboration Everything I Wanted. Like a Rose. Ashley Monroe received a record deal with Warner Brothers. Nashville and released her second studio album, Like a Rose on March 5, 2013. The album, produced by Vince Gill, was met with widespread critical acclaim. It features 9 tracks co-written by the singer, one of which is a collaboration with Blake Shelton. Like a Rose was released to radio as the album's first single on March 4, 2013. Like a Rose debuted at number 86 at the European Top 100 Country Music Chart late April 2013, as well as the duet with Blake Shelton which debuted at number 73 and was the most played country music song in Europe according to the European CMA. The Blade. On July 24, 2015, Monroe released her third full-length studio album, The Blade, to critical acclaim. Collaborations. Blake Shelton. Monroe was featured on Blake Shelton's hit, Lonely Tonight, the second single from his album, Bringing Back the Sunshine. Trent Dabbs In early 2008 Monroe began collaborating with singer-songwriter Trent Dabbs and creating several demo tracks that appeared on their individual MySpace pages, before releasing an EP under both of their names. It was simply entitled Ashley Monroe and Trent Dabbs. Other tracks have included I'm Coming Over, Laying Low, or I'm Staying Low, Now That I Know, When the Day Is Done, Everything I Wanted, and Gone. The official EP track listing however contains only 5 of these songs: I'm Coming Over, Laying Low, See Right Through, Now That I Know, and Gone. Ashley can also be heard on backing vocals on Trent Dabbs' song Your Side Now. Backing vocals Monroe contributed backing vocals on Will Hodge's song Good Night Goodbye off his 2009 album The Wreckage. The song was released as a soft single in late 2009. Ashley can also be heard on Cory Morrow's 2007 album 10 Years on the track More Than Perfect. Andrea Glass's 2008 release Stood Under Stars features her on 2 tracks The Price and North Wind. Ashley is also featured on the title track of Wade Bowen's If We Ever Make It Home album. Most recently, on a track she co-wrote with Miranda Lambert she is backing vocals. She is also featured in the video for All I Have starring Matt Kearney and an unreleased version of Fire and Rain by Matt as well. Ashley is also doing background vocals on the 2011 release of Josh Kelly's Georgia Clay album for the track A Real Good Try. There was also a 2011 video posted on YouTube of Ashley and Michelle Branch singing backing vocals for Chrissy Sorok's version of Ring of Fire for his upcoming release Beyond the Sun. Additionally she co-wrote 2 tracks and provides backing vocals for Vince Gill on Who Wouldn't Fall in Love with You, and If I Die. She is a featured vocalist on Hunter Hayes' newer version of his song, What You Gonna Do on his 2013 album Encore and on Feels Like Home, a 2013 album by Sheryl Crow along with Vince Gill on the track Give It To Me. It was also announced that Monroe would be performing a duet named Lonely Tonight with Blake Shelton on his 2014 album Bringing Back the Sunshine. Jack White's Third Man House Band In late 2008, Monroe collaborated with the Raconteurs and Ricky Skaggs on the Raconteurs single, Old Enough, which was released in bluegrass form, and as a music video. Monroe contributes backing vocals as a member of Jack White's Third Man House Band, which performed with Wanda Jackson on her newest album, The Party Ain't Over, which was released on January 25, 2011. She is featured on the songs Rum and Coca-Cola, Dust on the Bible, and Teach Me Tonight alongside Karen Elson, dubbing themselves the Cherry Sisters in the liner notes. She is also given credits on the Live It Third Man Records album by Wanda Jackson, having been on tour with her as part of the Cherry Sisters. She won honors for her performances. Pistol Annies Longtime friends, Monroe, Miranda Lambert and newcomer Angaleena Presley debuted their trio girl band Pistol Annies, with their song Hell on Heels, on April 22, 2011, on CBS airing of ACM Girls Night Out. The trio surprised the audience in place of Miranda singing with now ex-husband Blake Shelton. The girls, who all met through working in the industry, have dubbed nicknames for themselves via their band name. Miranda Lambert serves as Lone Star Annie, Ashley Monroe Hippie Annie, and Angaleena Presley as Holler Annie, as she is from the hills of Kentucky. Per Lambert, whether or not the Annies would release an album will be up to the fans. The single Hell on Heels was released for purchase via the Pistol Annies website on June 12, 2011. The Pistol Annies album Hell on Heels was released on August 23, 2011. The trio will also be featured on the Chieftains' upcoming release Voice of Ages on the track Come All Ye Fair and Tender Ladies. The Pistol Annies track Run Daddy Run was included on the 2012 soundtrack The Hunger Games, Songs from District 12 and Beyond. They have also been featured as backing vocalists on Blake Shelton's track Blue Christmas, and on Jewel's 2013 Greatest Hits on a new version of You Were Meant for Me. The trio also appear in the video for Blake Shelton's Boys Round Here video. The Pistol Annies' second album, Annie Up, was released on May 7, 2013. Train Monroe is featured on Bruises, a duet with Train singer Pat Minahan. The song was released as a single on November 9, 2012. She and Pat starred in the music video, and she toured with Train on the Mermaids of Alcatraz tour in the summer of 2013, where she sang Bruises, and one or two of her songs from her album. She also performed with Train on the Today Show on July 26. Personal life. On September 14, 2012, following a show on the Pistol Annies tour, Monroe accepted a marriage proposal by boyfriend John Danks, a starting pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. She tweeted, "I said yes. I'm engaged to my John Danks. Best night of my life." Pistol Annies bandmate Miranda Lambert helped her with the wedding plans. They were married on October 24, 2013, at Blackberry Farm in Walland, Tennessee. Blake Shelton officiated the ceremony, and Lambert was the maid of honor. Discography. Solo albums: Satisfied, Like a Rose, The Blade, albums as part of Pistol Annies, Hell on Heels, Annie Up. References. External links: official website, Ashley Monroe at allmusic.